Suits LA Episode 5 lowers the bar for a show that has already been struggling to take off. The spin-off of the immensely popular Suits has had a hard time making a name for itself, drawing criticism about the cast, specifically the lead character, Ted Black, and the meandering storylines. However, Episode 5 is potentially the worst episode of the show to date. Ted experiences a sexually charged dream about some of the women in his life, and it throws him off his game. Following this, the case surrounding the producer and the alleged murder heats up, with Ted attempting to find ways to gain an advantage, whatever the cost. There are also some significant revelations and tensions boil over for the central characters. Ted Black is becoming a detestable protagonist. Gabriel Marked as Harvey Specter and Stephen Amell as Ted Black in Suits LA. While Suits LA should have the right to stand on its own 2 feet and avoid comparisons to the original show, the inclusion of Harvey Specter in Episode 4 has rapidly dissolved any chance of that being the case. Now, with the memory of Harvey fresh in our minds, Suits LA has opted to put Ted into a situation that makes him terribly unlikable. Sure, Harvey had his flaws, but he was also charming and often the most intelligent person in the room, or at least equal to Mike Ross. Ted Black, on the other hand, has so far shown himself to be nasty, creepy, and constantly angry. The only redeemable aspect of the character appears to be the fact that he loved his brother, but since his death, Ted has become a shell of himself. Amell's performance is not to blame for the character's abysmal characterization, though it's ultimately down to the writing, which makes him appear seedy and untrustworthy. Beyond being a terrible friend, and someone who evidently doesn't have all that much respect for his peers, his lies and shortcuts cause people who put their faith in him to regret their choices. If the show is attempting to make Ted Black into a new Harvey Specter, it's failing. Positioning the character next to Harvey as he shares kind words is not going to be enough to cut through the disappointment. The rest of the Suits LA cast continues to carry the show. Listen, the rest of the cast have their quirks. Leah is goofy, Stuart has no social skills, and Erica is trying to juggle life and work and struggling. But, with all of these characters, it feels as though their stories are leading somewhere. There is the potential for their arcs to be entertaining and meaningful. But Ted Black's mystery appears to be pretty obvious, despite lacking the finer details, and the character remains a mess who steps on people's toes and continually makes choices that turn his allies into enemies. Rick Dodson and Erica Rollins continue to have an electric connection, and both characters are standouts in the series so far. Leah is incredibly fun and Stuart is starting to have his character defined beyond being an angry lawyer who wants to take down his old business partner. All of these elements keep the show's narrative moving forward, but to such a degree that the Ted stuff begins to feel like a nuisance, interrupting the action. If Suits LA can't get its act together in the next couple of episodes, the show might need something drastic to turn things around. Ted has the potential to be a worthwhile character, but his appearances so far have not boded well. But if the show continues to lean on the supporting cast and make them more prominent, Suits LA could have a chance at true success.